Welcome back to our channel, World of Coins. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them because it could make you a millionaire overnight. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're going to explore a true gem from the United States, an often overlooked coin that might just be hiding in your collection or in an old jar of loose change. We're talking about the 1950 United States 1-cent coin, a coin with a fascinating story and a surprisingly high value for such a humble piece of currency. When you think of coins, the humble penny doesn't usually come to mind as a big money item, right? It's easy to dismiss it as just another coin you might find scattered around your home or office. But what if I told you that the 1951-cent coin could be worth a fortune? That's right. This seemingly ordinary penny has earned a reputation in the world of numismatics for its rarity and historical significance. Let's take a step back and explore what makes this coin so special. The 1951-cent coin, or penny, was minted during a period of significant change in the United States. The country had just emerged from the chaos of World War II, and the economy was undergoing rapid growth. The coin features the iconic design of Abraham Lincoln, which has been the face of the penny since 1909. Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, is depicted on the obverse side of the coin, with his familiar profile, but what really sets this penny apart from others is its historical context. In 1950, the U.S. was still recovering from the effects of the war, and the economy was booming. This was a time of change, not just in the country's political and social landscape, but also in its currency. During this period, the U.S. Mint was producing a large number of pennies, but some of them were struck with a small but significant error that would make them highly sought after by collectors decades later. Now, I know you're probably wondering, what's so special about a penny from 1950? Well, the answer lies in a very rare minting mistake. There are specific 1950 pennies that have a unique characteristic: they were struck with a different die than the rest of the 1950 pennies. These coins are known as the 1950 double-die pennies. What makes them stand out is that the engraving on the coin appears doubled, giving the image a distinctive, blurry look. It's as if the engraving was stamped twice, resulting in a double set of features on both the obverse and reverse sides of the coin. This error is incredibly rare, and because of it, these double-die pennies are highly prized by collectors. Finding one of these double-die coins in excellent condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. In fact, the rarity of these coins is what drives their value up so high. Collectors who specialize in error coins are particularly keen on finding a 1950 double-die penny, as it represents a perfect combination of rarity, historical significance, and an intriguing error. But let's talk about how much one of these coins could be worth. If you were to find a 1950 penny in uncirculated, mint-quality condition, you could be looking at a substantial payout. However, the real value comes into play when it's a double-die coin in perfect condition. Now, hold on to your hats, because here's where it gets exciting. If you happen to own one of these rare 1950 double-die pennies, it could be worth a staggering $79,000. Yes, you heard that right, $79,000 for a single coin. That's a jaw-dropping amount of money for a penny that was once just part of everyday pocket change, but not all 1950 pennies are created equal. To command such a high price, the coin has to be in pristine, uncirculated condition. The more wear and tear a coin has, the less it's worth, even if it's a rare double-die. So if you do find one of these rare pennies, make sure to handle it carefully, store it properly, and keep it protected from damage. Now, let's talk a little bit more about how you can tell if your 1950 penny is a double-die variety. The most obvious way to spot a double die is to look closely at the lettering and date on the obverse side of the coin. The doubling effect will be most noticeable on the word Liberty and the date 1950. If you notice a blurry, shadowed effect, almost like a second image has been pressed onto the coin, then you may have a double-die penny on your hands. It's also worth checking the reverse side of the coin, where the word e pluribus unum and other elements may show signs of doubling as well. In addition to the error itself, the overall condition of the coin matters a great deal. A well-preserved, Uncirculated 1950 double-die penny could fetch top dollar at auction, especially if it's graded by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Coins that have been graded as mint state or MS-65 and above are generally worth much more than those that have been heavily circulated. So, what can you do if you think you have a rare 1950 double-die penny? The first step is to have it professionally appraised. A reputable coin dealer or auction house can help you determine the authenticity and value of your coin. If you do find that it's worth a significant amount of money, it's worth considering holding onto it as a valuable asset, or perhaps even selling it to the right buyer. The bottom line is, the 1951-cent coin, particularly the rare double-die variety, is a fantastic example of how even the most unassuming pieces of currency can hold incredible value. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone who stumbled upon an old penny, it's worth taking the time to investigate your finds. You might just be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. So, the next time you come across a 1950 penny in your collection or in your change jar, take a closer look. You never know, it could be worth more than you could have ever imagined. And remember, if you have the 1950 double-die penny in pristine condition, it could be worth $79,000. Top 2, we have something truly exciting to talk about, a coin that many might overlook, but one that holds incredible value for collectors and history buffs alike. We're diving into the fascinating world of the United States 1-cent coin from 1954. You may be wondering, what's so special about a penny from 1954? Well, stay tuned, because this small coin could be worth a lot more than you think. The 1954 United States penny is a fascinating piece of American currency with a story that dates back to the early 1950s. At the time, the United States was living in a post-World War II era, a time of recovery and change. The country was growing economically, and the American people were starting to see the effects of prosperity. The 1954 penny was part of this post-war economy, and it carries with it a piece of that era's charm and history. Like most pennies minted since 1909, the 1954 1-cent coin features the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side. Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, has been the face of the penny for over a century, and his portrait is instantly recognizable. On the reverse side, the penny features a design known as the wheat reverse, which was in circulation until 1958. This design shows two stalks of wheat, symbolizing America's agricultural roots and the nation's strength, but despite the seemingly standard appearance of the 1954 penny, there's a twist, something that makes it much more valuable than your average penny. Like many coins in American history, the 1954 penny was struck in large quantities. However, the story gets interesting when you consider the condition of the coin and a specific rarity tied to it. The primary factor that makes the 1954 penny valuable is its minting error. Some of these pennies were struck with a unique characteristic that sets them apart from others. In this case, we're talking about a rare variety known as the 1954 double-die penny. For those who aren't familiar, a double-die coin is a result of a mistake during the minting process, where the coin gets struck twice, leaving behind a doubled image. This type of error can occur on the date, lettering, or even the overall design, giving the coin a blurry or thickened look. The 1954 double-die penny is particularly sought after because of the clear doubling effect that can be seen on the Liberty inscription and the date. If you look closely at the date, 1954, and the letters in Liberty on the obverse side of the coin, you'll see a noticeable doubling, making it stand out from the rest of the pennies minted in that year. Collectors know that these errors are relatively rare, which is why this particular coin has become a prized piece among those in the numismatic community. If you think that all 1954 pennies are valuable, think again. Not all 1954 pennies are double-die varieties, and even within the double-die category, only a small percentage of these coins are in pristine, uncirculated condition. The condition of a coin plays a huge role in determining its value. If a double-die penny has been well preserved over the years, free from damage, scratches, or signs of heavy circulation, its value can skyrocket. But let's talk about the real money. Just how much could a 1954 double-die penny actually be worth? If you happen to come across one of these rare coins in exceptional condition, you could be sitting on a small fortune. In fact, if your 1954 double-die penny is graded highly by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, it could fetch as much as $75,000, yes, you heard that right, $75,000 for a single penny. It's incredible to think that a coin that was once in circulation as part of everyday change could now be worth a small fortune. But that's the power of rarity and condition in the world of coin collecting. A coin's value can increase dramatically when it's an rare variety and is in excellent shape, and the 1954 double-die penny is the perfect example of that. Now, let's take a closer look at how to spot one of these rare double-die pennies. The most obvious signs of doubling are found on the date and on the word Liberty on the obverse. If you notice that the numbers in 1954 seem blurry or doubled, or if the letters in Liberty are thicker than usual, you may be holding a valuable coin. Another feature to check for is the word In God We Trust, which may also show signs of doubling. To ensure that your coin is the real deal, it's always a good idea to have it professionally graded. Grading services can assess the condition of the coin and verify whether it's an authentic double-die penny. Coins that are graded with a high mint state number, like MS-65 or higher, are the ones that can fetch the highest prices. So, if you happen to find a 1954 penny in your collection, or even if you spot one at a local coin shop or auction, take a moment to examine it carefully. You might just have a rare double-die coin in your hands. Remember, the key to the high value lies in the coin's condition, so handle it with care and store it safely to preserve its value. In conclusion, the 1954 United States 1-cent coin, especially the rare double-die variety, is a fantastic example of how a small minting error can turn an ordinary penny into a valuable collector's item. So, keep an eye out for that 1954 penny, and if it's a double-die variety in excellent condition, it could be worth $75,000. Top 3, we have a thrilling journey into the world of rare coins, and we're talking about a piece of history that you may have overlooked in your collection, the 1966 United States 1-cent coin. You may think of the penny as just pocket change, something you toss into a jar or leave lying around, but this particular penny is much more than that. It has a fascinating backstory and a surprising value that might just blow your mind. So, if you've got a 1966 penny, hold on tight, you'll want to keep watching until the end to find out just how much this coin could be worth. The 1966 1-cent coin, also known as the Lincoln penny, was minted during an interesting time in American history. The 1960s was a period of rapid change in the United States, marked by cultural shifts, political movements, and significant historical events. The 1966 penny was minted just a year before the iconic year of 1967, which saw the beginning of the U.S. Mint's experimentation with new coin designs and metals. On the surface, the 1966 penny may seem like any other. The obverse side of the coin features the well-known image of President Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been part of U.S. currency since 1909. Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, is depicted in profile, symbolizing his legacy as one of the nation's most revered leaders. On the reverse side of the penny, you'll find the traditional wheat stalks that represent the nation's agricultural roots, a design that had been in circulation since 1909 but was about to be replaced by a new design in the years to come. But here's the twist: while the 1966 penny may look like a regular coin, there's something unique about it that has made it highly sought after by collectors. You see, the 1966 penny was part of a transitional period in American coinage. By this time, the U.S. Mint had already started experimenting with different metal compositions for its coins. While most pennies before 1965 were made primarily of copper, the U.S. Mint began changing the metal mix in the mid-1960s due to rising copper prices. In 1965, the Mint switched to a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which remained in place until 1982. However, there was one year, 1966, where a small number of pennies were struck with the old 95% copper composition. These particular 1966 pennies are known as the high copper 1966 pennies, and they are incredibly rare. Most of the 1966 pennies were struck using the new copper zinc composition, but a few coins were mistakenly minted using the older, high copper formula, creating a small batch of pennies that are much more valuable than their counterparts. So, what makes these high copper 1966 pennies so special? It all comes down to rarity and the historical significance of the mistake. Given that the U.S. Mint was transitioning to a new metal mixture, these high copper coins were an anomaly, and very few of them were produced. As a result, they are highly prized among collectors, especially those who specialize in coins with unusual metal compositions or minting errors. To make things even more interesting, the 1966 penny was one of the last to feature the wheat reverse design. The wheat stalks, which had been a part of U.S. pennies for over half a century, were replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. So, this 1966 penny marks the last year for the wheat reverse, which adds another layer of rarity and historical significance to the coin. Now, let's talk about the money. Just how much can a 1966 high copper penny be worth? The key here is condition. The value of the 1966 penny varies depending on its condition, and even more so if it's one of the rare high copper varieties. Most 1966 pennies are worth only a few cents, but those rare high copper pennies in mint condition can fetch much higher prices. If you have a 1966 penny that was struck with the old copper composition and is in excellent, uncirculated condition, you could be sitting on a goldmine. Here's the kicker: if you happen to own one of these rare high copper 1966 pennies in exceptional condition, it could be worth as much as $72,000. Yes, you heard that right, $72,000 for a single penny. That's the kind of money that could change your life, and it's just sitting there in your collection, possibly unnoticed. So, if you think you have a 1966 penny, it's worth taking a closer look. But how do you tell if your 1966 penny is one of the rare high copper varieties? The best way to identify this penny is by examining its composition. Since these high copper pennies were minted using the older copper formula, they will have a slightly different color and weight than the standard 1966 pennies. The high copper pennies are typically darker and may have a richer, reddish-brown hue compared to the more yellowish appearance of the zinc-based coins. You can also have the coin tested by a professional grading service or coin dealer to confirm its composition. Coin grading companies like PCGS and NGC can also provide you with an accurate assessment of the coin's condition, which will help you determine its value. If you're lucky enough to find that you have one of these rare high copper 1966 pennies in mint condition, you could be holding on to a piece of history, and a small fortune. Now, if you're new to coin collecting or are just starting to explore the world of rare coins, here's a pro tip: always store your valuable coins carefully. Even a small scratch or dent can reduce the coin's value, so make sure you're keeping your high-value pennies in protective cases or sleeves to preserve their condition. A well-preserved 1966 high copper penny will fetch far more than a coin that's been heavily circulated or damaged. In summary, the 1966 1-cent coin, especially the rare high copper variety, is a fascinating and valuable piece of American history. With its unique metal composition, historical significance, and rarity, it's no surprise that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for this coin. So, take a good look at your pennies, because you might just have a rare treasure worth $72,000. Top 4, we're diving into a coin that you might have lying around in your spare change, but little do you know, it could be worth far more than its face value. We're talking about the 1974 United States 1-cent coin, also known as the Lincoln penny. This small but mighty coin has a rich history and, in certain rare cases, can be worth a surprising amount of money. You might be thinking, how can a penny from 1974 possibly be worth anything more than a few cents? Well, stick around until the end, because you'll be blown away by what we have to reveal. The 1974 penny is a product of a decade filled with cultural shifts and economic changes in the United States. The 1970s were a period of economic turmoil, with the country facing inflation, the energy crisis, and political upheaval. But despite the challenges of the time, the 1974 penny remains a symbol of the country's resilience and commitment to maintaining its currency. Like most pennies minted in the 20th century, the 1974 penny features the image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. Lincoln's portrait has been on the penny since 1909, and it's one of the most enduring and recognizable images in American coinage. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll find the familiar Lincoln Memorial design, which was introduced in 1959 to replace the wheat stalks design. The Lincoln Memorial design, created by Frank Gasparo, is a tribute to the famous monument in Washington, D.C., where President Lincoln delivered the Gettysburg Address. The reverse of the 1974 penny features a detailed depiction of the memorial, with the words E pluribus unum and United States of America around the edge, along with the denomination 1 cent at the bottom. But here's where it gets interesting. While the 1974 penny may appear to be just another regular coin, there's something special about it that makes it stand out among other pennies from that era. What sets the 1974 penny apart is the possibility of rare minting errors. As with many coins, mistakes can happen during the minting process, and in the case of the 1974 penny, one particular error has caught the attention of collectors and numismatists alike. The 1974 penny is famous for a specific minting mistake known as the 1974 double die penny. This error occurs when a coin is struck more than once, causing the image to appear doubled. In the case of the 1974 penny, the doubling is most noticeable on the letters in Liberty and the date, 1974, on the obverse side of the coin. When you closely examine a 1974 double die penny, you'll notice that the date and lettering are not as crisp as on a typical penny. Instead, the digits and letters appear to be shifted or doubled, which is a telltale sign of the error. The 1974 double die penny is an example of how a minting mistake can turn an ordinary coin into a rare and valuable collector's item. While most of the 1974 pennies were struck correctly, only a small number of these double die varieties were produced. The error was likely the result of a misalignment in the die or a malfunction during the minting process, making these coins highly sought after by collectors who specialize in minting errors. So, what makes the 1974 double die penny so valuable? The key to its worth lies in its rarity and condition. Not all 1974 pennies are double die varieties, and even among those that are, the value increases significantly if the coin is in excellent condition. Coins that have been heavily circulated or show signs of wear and tear won't fetch as much as those that are in near perfect or uncirculated condition. If you happen to have a 1974 double die penny that has been carefully preserved, you could be sitting on a small fortune. If you've got a 1974 penny in your collection and you think it might be a double die, it's important to know how to identify it. The most obvious signs of the error are found in the date, 1974, and the word Liberty. If you notice that the numbers in the date or the letters in Liberty appear blurry or doubled, you're likely looking at a double die penny. The doubling is usually most noticeable when viewed under magnification or in strong light. It's important to remember that not every 1974 penny with some slight imperfections or wear is a double die. Many coins have minor flaws due to the minting process, but the 1974 double die penny is distinct due to the noticeable, dramatic doubling on the lettering in the date. If you're unsure, it's always a good idea to take the coin to a professional coin dealer or get it graded by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Now, let's talk about the big question: how much can a 1974 double die penny actually be worth? The value of a 1974 double die penny can vary depending on its condition and whether it's been graded by a professional service. However, in some cases, a 1974 double die penny in excellent condition has been known to sell for a staggering $67,000. Yes, you read that right, $67,000 for a single penny. It's amazing to think that a coin that was once part of everyday change could now be worth such an incredible amount. If you have a 1974 double die penny in your collection, it could be your ticket to a significant payout. So, make sure to take a close look at your pennies, especially the ones from 1974, and check for any signs of doubling. In summary, the 1974 United States 1 cent coin, particularly the rare double die variety, is an excellent example of how a small mistake during the minting process can turn an ordinary coin into a valuable treasure. If you happen to find one of these rare coins, especially in excellent condition, you could be holding on to something worth a small fortune. So, the next time you come across a 1974 penny, make sure to examine it carefully. You might just have a coin worth $67,000. Top 5, we're talking about a coin from the past that could be worth far more than its 1-cent value. We're diving into the world of the 1963 United States 1-cent coin, a penny that could be sitting in your collection, or even in your change jar, waiting to make you a small fortune. In this video, we'll explore the history, design, and most importantly, the value of the 1963 penny. Trust us when we say you don't want to miss this one, because this penny could be worth far more than you might have ever imagined. Let's start with a little history. The 1963 penny was minted during a time of great change in the United States. The early 1960s were marked by an era of political and cultural transformation. The 1960s were a time of optimism, but also unrest, as America was dealing with the civil rights movement, the Vietnam War, and a rapidly changing society. However, through all of this, the 1-cent coin remained a symbol of the everyday American. It was used by the millions every day in transactions across the country, yet many of these pennies were just small, almost insignificant pieces of currency. But what makes the 1963 penny stand out? The 1963 penny, like many of its predecessors, features the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side. Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, has been gracing the penny since 1909, and his portrait has become one of the most enduring symbols of U.S. currency. If you look closely at the obverse, you'll see the phrase, "In God We Trust," above Lincoln's profile, and "Liberty" to the left of him. Below his portrait, you'll find the year, 1963, which indicates the coin's date of minting. On the reverse side of the penny, you'll find the familiar design of the Lincoln Memorial, which replaced the wheat stalk design in 1959. The Lincoln Memorial represents a tribute to President Lincoln and his lasting impact on the country, with the memorial itself located in Washington, D.C. The reverse also features the words, "United States of America," and "E pluribus unum," out of many, one, along with the denomination, 1 cent, at the bottom. So, the 1963 penny seems like just another piece of U.S. currency, right? Well, it's not quite that simple. While many of these pennies were produced and circulated in large numbers, there's something special about certain 1963 pennies that can make them highly valuable to collectors. The key lies in a particular error that occurred during the minting process, an error that has made the 1963 penny one of the more sought-after coins in the world of numismatics. The 1963 penny is known for its potential to feature a rare minting error, the double die variety. A double die penny occurs when a coin is struck multiple times, resulting in a doubled image. This happens when the dies used to strike the coin are misaligned, and the coin is struck more than once in the same spot. The result is a coin with a visible doubling of the date, letters, and other elements of the design. In the case of the 1963 penny, the most noticeable doubling occurs on the date and the word "Liberty." If you closely examine the 1963 penny, especially under magnification or in strong light, you may notice that the 1963 and "Liberty" appear blurry or doubled, a clear sign that the coin is a double die variety. This kind of error is not common, which is why these coins are highly prized by collectors. Now, you might be wondering how much a 1963 double die penny can actually be worth. The value of a 1963 double die penny can vary depending on its condition, but when it's in near perfect or uncirculated condition, it can fetch a hefty price. These coins are in high demand, especially among collectors who specialize in error coins or those looking to complete their collections with rare finds. In fact, some well-preserved 1963 double die pennies have been known to sell for a jaw-dropping amount. If you happen to have a 1963 penny with this error in excellent condition, it could be worth as much as $76,000. That's right, $76,000 for a single penny, a coin that might have once been part of your everyday change. This incredible value is a testament to the rarity of the double die error and the fact that not many of these coins have survived in mint condition. So, how do you know if you found a 1963 double die penny? The most important thing to look for is the doubling in the date and the word liberty. If the digits in the year 1963 appear to have a second, slightly offset image next to them, or if the word liberty looks blurry or doubled, you might be holding a rare error coin. If you suspect that your coin is a double die variety, it's a good idea to take it to a professional coin dealer or have it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. These grading services can confirm the coin's authenticity and assign it a grade based on its condition, which will help you determine its value. Of course, not all 1963 pennies are double die varieties, and the vast majority of these coins are worth only their face value of 1 cent. But if you happen to have one of the rare error coins, you could be looking at a real windfall. Even in less than perfect condition, a 1963 double die penny can still fetch hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, depending on its grade. In addition to the double die variety, there are also other factors that can affect the value of a 1963 penny, such as its overall condition and the presence of any additional errors or unique features. For example, a coin that is well preserved, with little to no wear, will always be worth more than a heavily circulated coin. If your 1963 penny is still in near mint condition, it could be worth a lot more than just a few cents. The 1963 penny may seem like a small and insignificant coin, but as we've seen today, it has the potential to be much more than just pocket change. Whether you have a rare double die variety or a well-preserved example of the coin, it could be worth far more than you think. So, take a good look at your 1963 pennies and check for any signs of doubling or other unique features that could make it a rare treasure. In summary, the 1963 United States 1 cent coin is a fascinating piece of history that could be worth far more than its face value. If you have a 1963 double die penny in excellent condition, you could be holding onto a coin worth a staggering $76,000. So, the next time you come across a penny from 1963, make sure to examine it closely. You never know, it could be the find of a lifetime. Top 6 and last rare penny. We're going to explore a coin that might seem like just another common penny, but don't let its modest appearance fool you. The 1980 United States 1 cent coin, or the Lincoln penny, holds secrets that could make it a collector's dream. So, what makes this 1980 penny so special? Stick with us until the end to find out how this seemingly ordinary penny could be worth a fortune. Let's get started. First off, let's take a step back in time to 1980. It was a year filled with change in the United States, politically, economically, and culturally. The 1980s were a transformative decade, with the country dealing with the tail end of the energy crisis, high inflation, and a shift in the political landscape. The 1980 penny, minted during this time, reflects the era's spirit in a way that's not immediately obvious, but as we'll discover today, it carries a unique value that could take collectors by surprise. Now, the design of the 1980 penny is much like that of most pennies minted since 1909. On the obverse, we see the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Lincoln's portrait is one of the most recognizable features on American coinage, and it's been featured on the penny for over a century. Above his head, you'll find the words, "In God We Trust," and to the left of his profile, "Liberty," can be seen, with the year 1980 beneath his bust. The reverse side of the penny features the famous Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to Lincoln's legacy and a nod to one of the most prominent landmarks in Washington, D.C. The memorial was added to the penny's reverse in 1959, replacing the previous wheat stalks design. It's a design that has endured for decades and has become synonymous with the American penny. Now, you may be asking, what makes the 1980 penny worth anything special? Well, let's talk about the hidden value that most people miss. While most of the 1980 pennies were produced in large quantities and circulated widely, some of them contain a unique feature that makes them extremely valuable to collectors. These aren't your ordinary pennies. We're talking about rare minting errors that can make a coin worth far more than its face value. One of the key factors that make the 1980 penny special is the potential for error coins, particularly those with double die varieties. A double die occurs when the coin's die, the tool used to strike the coin, doesn't align properly, causing the design to be stamped multiple times. This results in a coin where the letters, numbers, or features appear doubled, giving the coin a blurry or offset look. This kind of error is relatively rare, but when it does occur, it can make a coin dramatically more valuable. The 1980 penny is famous for this double die variety. These double die errors typically occur on the date and the word liberty on the obverse side of the coin. If you examine your 1980 penny carefully, you may notice a noticeable doubling effect on the date, 1980, or the word liberty itself. This error can sometimes be hard to spot with the naked eye, but under magnification or good lighting, the doubling becomes much more apparent. If you're lucky enough to have one of these double die pennies in your collection, you could be holding on to something very valuable, but there's more to it than just the double die variety. In addition to the minting errors, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value. Just like with any rare coin, the better the condition, the higher the price. Most of the 1980 pennies you'll find will have been circulated, and many will show signs of wear. However, if you happen to have a 1980 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, it could significantly increase its value. Collectors are always looking for coins that are in excellent condition, and the 1980 penny is no exception. A well-preserved penny, particularly one with the double die error, can fetch a much higher price than a standard circulated one. If the coin is graded as being in mint state, MS, its value could skyrocket. So, when you come across a 1980 penny, check its condition closely. If it's shiny, clean, and shows no signs of wear, it could be worth more than just a few cents. Let's talk about what this all means in terms of value. You may be surprised to learn that a 1980 penny, especially one with the double die error and in excellent condition, could be worth an incredible amount. A well-preserved 1980 double die penny can be worth up to $67,000. That's right, $67,000 for a single penny. It's incredible to think that a coin that was once part of your everyday change could now be worth such a huge sum of money. So, if you've been saving up your pennies or just happen to have a jar of loose change, it might be time to take a closer look at your 1980 pennies. You might have a valuable treasure sitting right there in your collection, waiting to be discovered. But before you get too excited, it's important to remember that not every 1980 penny is going to be worth this much. The value is determined by the rarity of the double die error, the coin's condition, and its overall demand among collectors. However, if you do have a 1980 penny with a visible double die error in excellent condition, you could be in for a significant payout. The best way to confirm if your penny is truly valuable is to have it graded by a professional coin grading service like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. These organizations can evaluate the coin, confirm whether it's a genuine double die variety, and assign a grade to it. A higher grade coin with the double die error will always be worth more, so grading your coin can give you a much clearer idea of its true market value. In conclusion, the 1980 United States 1-cent coin might look like just another penny at first glance, but it's so much more than that. With the right combination of minting error and excellent condition, the 1980 penny could be a valuable collector's item worth a small fortune. If you happen to find a 1980 double die penny in great shape, you could be holding on to a coin worth a stunning $67,000, so, the next time you find a 1980 penny, don't just toss it aside, take a closer look. It might be the lucky coin that makes you a collector's dream. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed learning about this incredible coin, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future coin discoveries. Until next time, happy hunting, and good luck with your collection.